Okay, so when I wake up in the morning, I get dressed, drink coffee, start my day, do a 3 arrow thumb draw, and I just did that short. And then I go through my news cycle, I get everything, all the information, wisdom, and so on and so forth. Look at the weather, see what it's going to be. It's going to be partly cloudy to mostly sunny through the day, so still a lot of snow on the ground. It's still below freezing, so probably won't go outside to shoot today. So I'll be indoors and I'm going to be aiming for that little orange dot that I'm chewing up. So what I'm doing is I'm setting really close. I'm probably about not even 10 feet away. And that's where we start. So when you play basketball or any other sport, it's where you have to be kind of precise. You start close. You do your layups. You do 10 on each side of the rim from the backboard. You do 10 in the front of the rim, and then you work your way a step back. Do 10 more from each, angle, left, right, straight. And then you start from the blocks, and then you're out to the wing, and you stop at 15 feet, and you start shooting until, you get a good percentage. And sometimes people shoot about 100 of anything at free throws or maybe even 3-pointers, depending upon what you're doing. So same thing with this, but I'm shooting 1 arrow at a time, and I'm retrieving, shooting, retrieving, shooting, retrieving. This breaks my concentration, so that way I can refocus on the target and keeping it. See where that big hole is above the orange dot? That's where I've been putting the arrow. The orange dot's kind of moved down a little bit because it's all chewed up, but the bottom line is you have to practice at a short range before you can move back. And I'll just be moving back to about 6 yards today, but I'm going to shoot 10 in a row at that same area and show you the consistency that you can get. So the thing is, I'm shooting a Easton Black Max arrow off of my 45-pound alley bow, and I'm using thumb draw. And this is where we have target in mind instead of rapid shooting. We have that miss. Okay, so I want to bring up the thing about the thumb rings again. This one slipped off of my hand while I was shooting, so that threw me off a big way. So it's not the arrow, it's not the bow, it's the shooter and his equipment. So this thumb ring is not normally the one I use, but it's the one I'm using right now. All right, so I'm where I want to be with that release, and I'm doing a 28-inch draw. I'm not taking it all the way back. This is only a 30-inch arrow. So we're not taking it back too far at all. And this is where I want to be. I want to be within an inch of every single impact. And again, it popped off. This is why we have the lanyards on these, or this is why I have the lanyards on. I'll be getting me a new brass one that I misplaced. I still cannot find that thing. I'm going to have to be tearing my house apart to find that. Okay, so you'll see that the arrow, it goes in like this, but it goes out like that. It looks like it's on target, but it's really not. The material inside the target is pushing the arrow away from, so I'm very consistent with where I'm at. So it's pushing it away from where it looks like it's going in, and gives it an optical illusion that you're really close to something else. This is really so that one went straight in. This is really so for long distance shooting. When you're shooting at 20 yards, 30 yards, the arrow has more time to stabilize. So you be true to where you want it to impact. Up close, the arrow is doing all kinds of wonky things. Pitching, yawing, and doing things that give it the optical illusion that you're doing a good job when you're really not. But we're consistent in here, and I'm not counting all these shots. I'm just shooting, and that's where we want to be, in this area here. So we're basically an inch away from where we are. Now, I'm not holding my bow at 90 degrees. I'm gonna hold this thing at 90 degrees. And you see that the arrow will go in very straight for me, and that's what you want, and pretty much on target. But when I shoot it at a slight 70-degree tilt, not quite 45, I have a different excuse me, point of impact and angle in which the arrow goes in. So these are things to be, considered when you're out there hunting, target shooting. You have to have proper form, and on target shooting at least. When you're hunting, not so much. You have a wide area of here to here to hit the animal in the kill zone, to hit its heart and lungs, so that way it bleeds out, and you can then retrieve your animal depending upon where you drop it at. So that's a good one in the middle where the orange dot should have been. I'm going to revamp my target today. Oh, a little low. But this is the normal procedure, and you need to incorporate a definite way of doing something, so that way you can be consistent from that way of doing that. And putting it in the circle is the best thing to do, and that's what works. Always have a point of reference when you shoot these things. Draw a smiley face on it, a dot, put a sticker on there of any kind, and use that for, that's your point of impact that you want. You're aiming to get that point of impact. And that's too high. And my thumb ring almost slipped off again. Okay, I'll put it to you like this. In the wintertime, your skin gets really, really dry. And about an hour ago, I put lotion all over my arms, face, upper body, and so on, legs and whatnot, hands. And so this thing is really slipping off. So, yeah. That's what we want to achieve, is the accuracy. But sometimes things don't like to work out so great. So you have to keep it in mind what you're trying to get going there. With a compound bow, a little different. You're really not touching the string, because you got the little loop on there. Got a loop there. You see that loop on there, and you put your little trigger thingy on there, and you can shoot that all day long. So when you take it from 70 pound and put it in the relaxed position, it's a 20 pound. So you can sit there and hold that all day long. Anybody can that shoots archery, but when you're shooting a 45 pound bow, then that's what you got. You're pulling at 45, holding at 45, or 48, or maybe even 50, depending upon how far back you draw it. I'm safe at a 30 inch draw with these little Turkish horse bows. So yeah, that was dead center. And like I said, this is what you're achieving. You're wanting to make that target disappear by chewing it up. So I'll be putting some more cardboard and tape on that, so that way I can continue shooting as I am. So 30 inch Black Max from Easton. Look at the fletching. This is how they do this, and this is pretty much for compound bow, bow shooting. It's not really a traditional recurve Turkish horse bow. This is an ambidextrous bow, as I've covered many times before. You can shoot off at either side, and I'll show you Western draw real quick with this thing. Can be done. It's not hard. You just got to want to, and that's way off, but I'm shooting super close, and I'm not accustomed to shooting Western with this bow. These have reinforced, if you will, aluminum tips. Give you a little bit more comfort in shooting. Is 350 spine. I have bullet tips on them, steel, and that way I can just continually use them. They won't do too much deforming. And just keep making the hole deeper, not bigger, but deeper, definitely deeper. I can tell that this is going all the way back down to the burlap because I've moved a lot of material aside. And it just makes more sense to do it this way. To practice getting your form, getting your release, point of aim, point of impact. Doesn't matter how close you are. That part's irrelevant. But it works. So, that being said, Turkish horse bow, 45 pound, from alley bow, knocking point. I'm knocking up, not down, because it's thumb draw. And I have this is the version with the oxhorn tips for the string saddle, string guide, and Easton Black Max. I do like these arrows a lot. 340 spine, excuse me, correction, not 350, 340. And they're up to 70 pounds, which at 30 inches long. 6.5 millimeter carbon arrow. Does really well. I'm planning on getting some more of these. Good products. All right, you guys, stay safe, stay warm. We'll see you again.